going to shock the world here.
There's no way you disagree with this. Top John Leahy? Yes. You're going to take a player spot away from a president?
In my head, here's the box. I'm going to bring back the box. But then there's another box inside of it.
Oh, there's a smaller
You're
box.
in there.
They roll 1 for 10. 10%.
Terrible.
How are you going to do that? You can't win games like that.
Bobcat breakdown.
Bobcat breakdown.
Bobcat breakdown.
Bobcat breakdown starting right now.
Welcome to Bobcat Breakdown. I'm your host, Seth Fromowitz. Before we get the debates underway, here's what you may have missed in the last few weeks of Quinnipiac Sports, presented by QBSN.
This week in Quinnipiac Athletics, field hockey kicked it off with a 2-1 loss to UMass Amherst. Olivia Howard scored the Bobcats' lone goal.
A sweep, they score! Olivia Howard made the initial shot and the Bobcats cut the lead in half.
Men's soccer also continued their unbeaten start to the season, taking on Boston College on Monday and defeating the Eagles 3-1.
Finds Miller in a pocket of space, thought about the shot, left-footed ball to Specula on the right, back to Austin at the top of the box, and Brog, Austin!
Finally, women's soccer got back to winning ways with a 2-1 victory over Drexel on Friday afternoon. Goal scorer Lily Schneiders picked up MAAC Offensive Player of the Week honors with her performance.
Major opportunity here, floats it in, and it's a goal for Lily Schneider.
Alongside me tonight are Anthony Rossi and Beckett Calkins. How do you guys feel about kicking off the year?
I'm ready to get things going, Anthony. What about you?
Oh, I'm so ready. It's the sophomore duo, and we're back at it again, so let's have a good show.
Well, it's time to get our night underway. Last season, the women's soccer team won the MAAC championship behind an MVP caliber season from Rebecca Cooke, scoring 22 of the team's 54 goals. This offseason, Cooke transferred to Penn State, who defeated the Bobcats in the first round of the NCAA tournament. With her absence, how will the Bobcats replace her scoring? Anthony, we'll start with you.
Well, it's good to start off a new year, and you know how you start off a good year, Beckett? With teamwork. This team needs teamwork. You can't just replace one player with one other player. It's not going to work. Courtney Choko, Lily Schneiders, Evelyn Key are the people that I think are going to be the players to watch going forward. Evelyn Key's a first year. She's super, super talented. She's super fast. And I'm really, really excited to see how she does. Courtney Choko, we know her really well. And then Lily Schneider, she had a really nice floater in the other game the other day. So what are your thoughts?
Well, the question is, how will they replace the scoring hole? I think there has to be certain players and a certain player that has to step up. Not the whole team. You mentioned her. It's Courtney Choko. Now, the Bobcats, they're still figuring out this offense. They scored just 2 goals in their first 3 games, and they were shut out in their first 2 games. But Courtney Choko has certainly exploded since then. She had a goal and 3 assists already so far this year, and she took 7 shots. 7 shots, Anthony, against Stonehill. That's the leader of this team. If that's not a leader, I don't know what is. That's how the Bobcats replace this hole that Rebecca Cooke left.
But how many of those did she actually score?
She has scored 1 goal so far.
1 goal on 7 shots.
If you're taking 7 shots, chances are you're going to score more than 1 eventually. I like her odds, and she's going to step up.
I love these first years, man. Evelyn Key is one of the players that I'm looking at. I feel like she's got a knack for the back of the net.
You need experience, though.
But she's going to...
The first years can only take you so far.
No. You got to trust them. You trusted them last year in all the other sports. You got to trust them in this
Early in the season, though, who's replacing Rebecca Cooke? It's got to be the senior. It's got to be Courtney Choko. She's going to step up. She's got experience. 7 shots against Stonehill? Are you kidding me? If you're taking 7 shots a game,
but
you're going to
score 1.
You're going to score more than 1. You're going to score more than 1. She's going to get on the board.
Well, we can't forget that the men's soccer team also won the MAAC championship as well. Last season, head coach Eric DaCosta rolled out multiple center-back pairings during their title run. With MAAC play starting in 1 week, what pairing sets the Bobcats up the best to repeat as champions?
Well, first off, I think the men's team, Luke Allen and Saunders Sonstrud for the men's team, first of all. I think overall, Jao Pinto. No. Jao Pinto is a guy that he's younger. I just was saying you need experience. Sonstrud has that experience, Rossi. 110 minutes in the NCAA tournament last year against Vermont. He played all 110. Did Pinto play at all that game? No. He did not see the field. Luke Allen, he's the captain. That's the guy. He's going to be on the field.
We can agree on that. At least Luke Allen we can agree on.
Saunders Sonstrud, he's going to be on the field. When he's healthy, this is a guy that's been fantastic. I know you're talking about the back line, but João Pinto has never even recorded a point in his college career.
Well, you kind of stole my guy. I'm going João Pinto here. Yes, Sandstrud is out. Not saying that he's not talented. João Pinto is one of the people that is going to step up, and he's been stepping up so far. He's played amazing D in the last couple games. He's a shutdown defender. You might not have had the points, but that's not what you need from your defense. You need to have them step up and play. Pinto, yes, he might have not gotten NCAA experience last year, but he is a guy right now that I'm trusting to lead this team with Luke Allen. So I like Sandstrud, but right now I love in Pinto. And like you said, I love the younger guys too. You got to let them step up. Let them control.
Well, both teams made several additions to account for their losses in personnel. Looking at each squad now, what program had the better offseason?
I'm going to start this one. I think the men's soccer team had the better offseason. Dario Cavada is leading the team in points right now. Francisco Ferreira, first year, unbelievable. I keep saying it. These first years are going to step up. Francisco Ferreira has already inserted him into the lineup. He's already been playing too much. We look at the graphic right here. No Cabezas is another player that I'm looking out for in the future as well. Just so many players coming in, so many talented, and they're filling the holes. They also kept their players that they needed to keep. Tomáš Fikul is back. Bragasson's back. Those are your two key pieces. Luke Allen's back as a captain. I think that they had a better offseason, 100%.
See, I also think the men's team had a better offseason, but you didn't mention a few pieces that they lost. They did lose David Bracedo. They lost Alexander Sterngard. They lost Sam McCann, among other guys. But already, Francisco Ferreira, MAAC Rookie of the Week. He's been fantastic. They've had other players step up. Dario Cavada, like you mentioned, has been fantastic. Noe Cabezas, transfer from NC State, started the first couple of games. The women's team, sure, they added a few players, but you can't lose the nation's leading goal scorer. You cannot lose the nation's leading goal scorer and have the better offense.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. And then you also have we forgot to mention Carl Netzel. Carl Netzel's back in the pipes, and he's been stellar these last couple of games as well.
Well, sure, he's back in the pipes, but he wasn't an offseason addition. He's been here.
Exactly.
So I don't think that
that's
factors in who had the better offseason.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you didn't lose him to a bigger school. You still kept him.
But you could say the same about Sofia Lospinozo for the women's team.
This is true. This is very true.
So I think that's a non-factor, but I think players like, obviously, Rebecca Cooke, but then Lauren Triglione, Paige LaBerge, fourth on the team in goals and points last year. Paige LaBerge was the women's team. Lost her, of course. I mean, this is a team had a few key losses, and I just think the men's team had more big additions to help for the loss of David Bracedo, among others.
Yeah, looking at the graphic right here, I like Lily Schneiders. I like Rachel Romanov. Evelyn Key, I was mentioning earlier, very high praise for her. I just love the men's team right now. I like their additions. They played amazing against Boston College, against a really tough team too. So I think we agree on that one. The men's soccer team definitely had the better offseason.
And one more point I want to make. I know I talked a little bit about Lauren Triglione. She played and started all 19 games last year. I mean, that's key. You were third on the team in minutes. That's a huge loss no matter what type of production. If you're out there and you're third on the team in minutes and you're losing that many minutes, that much experience, that's a big loss no matter what.
You know, it seems like every year is a rebuild when it comes to college athletics, but you can't forget how many first years the women's team now has compared to the men's team. So it's certainly something to keep an eye out for as we head down the stretch. But I feel like that's been enough soccer talk for now. We'll take a quick break, but don't go away. We're talking what to expect with the new field hockey coach. Will we see a repeat from a volleyball staple? And what kind of dominance to expect on Mount Carmel? All that here on Bobcat Breakdown.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies. Selfies. Nailed it.
We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on man, let's split a ride home.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
Multiple studies have shown that marijuana can slow both driver reaction and response time, which can be really dangerous. He's here. He's here. Wait. What? I can't drive. Why? My. Oh.
Welcome back to Bobcat Breakdown. This week, we're going to play a little game called Higher or Lower. I'm going to pose the guys a number, and they have to decide if it's higher or lower than their predictions for the season. Last season, the men's soccer team went undefeated at home during MAAC play. Despite losing at home to Northeastern earlier today, the Bobcats still have a chance to achieve this feat again. Higher or lower, will the Bobcats lose 0.5 games at home in conference play this year? Now, something to note, guys, is that last season in conference play, the men's team scored 13 goals when they won 6 games, lost none, but tied 1.
You ready to go here, Anthony?
I'm ready.
Let's see those answers. So,
I think this men's team is 100% going to lose a game at home in conference. And I'll tell you why. This schedule, it's not a cakewalk. I mean, they have to play tough teams, and already this year, they were undefeated at home the entire last year, including MAAC play, but also non-conference play. They had a non-conference game today against the Northeastern Huskies. What do? They dropped that game. That shows they're not unbeatable.
All right, look, Beckett. So when I said 100% yes, that means 100% yes, they're going undefeated. Now,
Well, tell me why.
Hear me out. This team, like I mentioned earlier, key pieces are still there. Asen, Svekula, these are the players that we want that are here. There is a chance, 100%.
Do you know how hard it is to go undefeated at home among your conference opponents for the entire season?
They did it last year. They can absolutely do it again.
They did it
Carl
last year.
Netzel is a brick wall in net, and I do not see anybody being a better goaltender than him.
Northeastern got 2 by him today at home.
But Northeastern's a better team in a better conference.
Carl Netzel cannot stop everything, and I'm not sure if the Colonial is necessarily a better conference than the MAAC. I mean, Northeastern's a below 500 team in the Colonial Conference. This Quinnipiac Bobcats team, sure, it's a great team. The Bobcats are going to face better teams in the MAAC than they faced Northeastern in the Colonial today.
No. The goaltending is just too good. Boy, excuse me, Beckett. Gosh, I almost forgot your name because I was so heated there. Carl Netzel is so good.
Carl Netzel can't do everything.
It doesn't matter.
All right,
Did you see him last year?
If you get past the back line of defense, all you need one-on-one with Netzel, you're scoring at least 8, 9,
and
10
you have
out of
Luke
10.
Allen back there as a guy to stop it.
Doesn't matter. You can't stop everything. Every game, you can't stop everything. The Bobcats are going to lose at least one home game in
He just got
conference
MAAC
this year.
goaltender of the week last week. Almost got it
That's
this
one
week
week
as well.
against non-conference opponents.
Doesn't matter.
Try 1 year against conference teams at home.
Yeah, and he'll win it. And he'll win it too.
So, Beckett, while you still think that the men's team had a better offseason, they're going to lose more than 1 game?
I do. I think while they had a better offseason, I think the women's team, if we're going to flip the switch there, I think they lose more than more than half a home game. I think they'll lose at least 1 home game in MAAC play as well. We talked about them, losing key pieces like Rebecca Cooke, but the men's team, they're 100% going to lose at least 1 game.
No.
All it takes is one little deflection, everything has to go perfect. You have to play fantastic to win every MAAC home game, and I just do not see
And
them
they
doing
will.
that this
And
year.
they absolutely will.
Not at all.
Well, after 28 seasons, the Quinnipiac field hockey program has a new head coach in Nina Klein. Klein makes her return to the program after spending last season as the assistant coach at Boston College. In Becca Main's final season, the team won 8 games. With Klein's new leadership, Do you think the Bobcats achieve more or less than 8.5 wins this season? Now, something to think about is last season was the first time the Bobcats won 8 games since 2015.
Seth, I think this one's easy.
I don't think so. I really don't think so, Beckett. I don't know. I don't know what
You
you
ready?
want. Yeah, I'm ready.
see 'em.
Let's show them.
It's got to be more.
No.
I mean, Seth talked about the success that they had last year. It's more. Have you ever, Rossi, do you know who Katie Shanahan is? Have you ever heard of her? No? Never heard of her, right? She's a first year. She's taken the Eva Veldhorst role at the sweep position. That's one of the hardest positions in sports. She's just one of many talented upcoming players on the Quinnipiac field hockey team. They have an experienced defense led by her, first year, Katie Shanahan. They're going to get better throughout the year. Nina Klein's still figuring things out. She's still figuring out how to use players like Stella Titmeyer. She needs to let Stella be more of a scorer than a passer. But the defense, that's something that's going to improve throughout the year, right? I mean, they've got players, like I'm talking about, the young players. This team is still up and coming. Even though they lost their coach, they've got young stars. And I think that's just only going to improve throughout the year.
While I agree with you, yes, they'll improve throughout the year. I just don't think they're getting over 8 wins with a new coach. Nina Klein is brand new to the program. It's going to take a lot of adapting. Stella Titmeyer will definitely be one of those players that you're looking out for throughout the year. Amelia Massarelli as well. And then amazing defense.
All right, real quick.
as well.
No. You just mentioned Mazzarelli, right?
Yeah.
She was a first year previously, of course, that played significant time to start the year. Last 3 years, Mazzarelli, Torres, Lucia Pompeo. All of them turned into massive roles. Katie Shanahan is the next one to be added to that group of 3 players. Katie Shanahan's going to lead this team to over 8.5 wins.
I feel like they'll
New
get
first
better.
year coach, they're on the rise, Rossi.
After
they're on
this
the rise.
year, I think after this year, I think they're going to be better. But this year, I think it's a little bit of an adapting year. Calm down a little bit.
You've
Beckett,
already seen
chill
her.
out.
You've already seen her make a big impact, though, already this year.
Just you need to have adaptation. It's a new dynamic. It's a new coach. You don't have Becca Main this year. When was the last time that this team did not have Becca Main?
28 years ago.
28 years ago.
They have never not had Becca Main.
1995 was the last time that they did not have Becca Main. And what did they do? They did not have a good season. Once Becca Main came in, they were still adapting, and then give them 2-3 years, and they were solid.
Well, guess what? I think they're still adapting now, and they're adapting for the better, right? They're going to put players who, weren't always defenders previously into that position. They're trying things out. That defense is going to get better. We already know they can score.
It takes time to adapt.
They can adapt and still get better in the same season. This team is winning more than 8.5 games. I mean, Torres has looked fantastic. She's looked much better than she did at the start of last season. Like, the end of last season, she was impressive, right? And she's still already making strides this year. This team is winning at least 9 games.
Their conference schedule is just too tough, and I don't think so.
Well, the trend of last season was fall MAAC titles. The volleyball team was one of 6 programs to bring home the gold at Quinnipiac. Outside hitter Ariana Diaz returns to the program for her 5th season after finishing 7th in the conference with 337 kills. Do you think we will see her finish higher or lower in the stat column this year? And now, while Diaz finished 7th in the conference in total kills, she was 6th in the conference in average kills per set with 3.18. What do we think, guys?
Buckle up. I got a hot take for this one.
I'm thinking higher.
I'm thinking higher, too.
So
Ready
hot,
for this?
So hot we had to see it twice, huh?
Ready for this, Beckett?
I'm ready.
She's finishing 1st in the MAAC in kills.
That's ridiculous.
That is not ridiculous.
No. So, well, tell me
you
why.
don't understand how good she is. And she's...
Well, why is she so good? What makes her so effective?
Well, because she's been playing in this team and this system for 5 years now.
You know who else is experienced? All MAAC first teamer for Marist, Sasha Vandermeer.
And I think she's better than her. 100%.
Who's better than who?
Diaz is better than the Marist outside hitter. 100%.
Vandermeer's in her senior year. She's already averaging almost 4 kills per set.
And Diaz won MAAC
85
Player
kills
of
already.
the Year last year.
I don't care about
in the
MAAC
tournament.
Player of the Year. She's already leading the entire conference with 85 kills. Sasha Vandermeer is going to be
right
number
now,
1.
Right now, okay. Diaz sat out the tournament this past weekend in the Columbia Invitational. But look,
you can still
you
go
give
kills
her
per set.
time.
I left the
give
average
her
in there.
time to play in to this system and pair her up with Ginevra Giovannioni and those two will cook. Those two will
Vandermeer's not the
absolutely
only name.
cook.
Vandermeer's not the only name. Mackenzie Wiggins from Iona. There's other.
Yeah, and that spreads it out.
Yeah,
Diaz is the best player in the MAAC, 100%.
Not
But
at
Anthony, now that you mentioned that Diaz did not play in the last Invitational.
Correct.
Do you think that she can still catch up? Do you not
Absolutely.
think that she's not too far?
100%. The setters trust her more than anybody on the court. 100%. Who did they go to in the Wisconsin game in the NCAA tournament? Ariana Diaz. Who did they go in the MAAC tournament? Ariana Diaz. Who did they go in the regular season? Ariana Diaz.
Who was 7th in the MAAC last year? Not even top 5.
Doesn't
Ariana
matter.
Diaz.
Doesn't matter.
Ariana Diaz. Not
It's a
even top
new
5.
year,
Great
Beckett, and
player.
it's a new time for her to
6th in
shine.
average kills per
She's
set
going
last
out
year.
on top.
Nowhere
100%.
near number 1. If you can't be top 5, you're not number 1. Who's number 1 right now? Sasha Vandermeer.
No. She is finishing at the top of the MAAC, and her setters are too good this year. Look at the first years, too. The first year stepped up in the Columbia Invitational this past weekend. Good. We have now trusted first years again. But Ariana Diaz, she's just too good. And I know you're asking, why is she so good?
No, I'm asking why can the volleyball team have trusted first years, but the field hockey team can't have trusted first years?
Because the volleyball team has won way more than the field hockey team,
Field
and I
hockey
trust
team's
her
up and
more.
coming.
Then exactly, that's what I'm saying. Ariana Diaz's experience.
Also, I'm not exactly sure if that's true.
The experience on this team is way higher than the field hockey team, and that's why I think that they'll win the MAAC this year as well. The volleyball team is going back to back, 100%.
Crazy statement after crazy statement.
Good. That's what this show's for, isn't it?
Well, before we go to break, we'll do a quick round of rapid fire questions. We're going to swap out the whiteboards for some paddles, and I'm going to fire off some questions, and Anthony and Beckett will have to hold up their paddles on my count with red meaning no and green meaning yes. You guys ready?
Oh, absolutely.
All right. In field hockey, who will score more goals? Stella Titmeyer or Amelia Massarelli? But for this one, Titmeyer will be red and Massarelli will be green. Ready? 3, 2, 1.
No. Why do we keep disagreeing, Beckett? Why? Why do we keep disagreeing? Titmeyer has been recognized on a national level. How many times? 3 times already this year is what I'm hearing. And I think that she will lead this
This is ridiculous.
team.
You want to know why? Who's got the green light? Yeah, green. Mazzarelli. Mazzarelli has the green light. Stella's being used in a new role this year, right? More of a passer than usual.
Well, will women's rugby finish with a winning record for their 2nd straight season? 3, 2, 1.
What do you have against the rugby team?
I don't have anything against the rugby team. It's just look at the loss to Harvard. They lost 55-14. If that's not saying something, I don't know
they
what
won
is.
5 games last year. They can do it again.
No.
Well, will women's golf claim their 4th straight MAAC title? 3, 2, 1.
Okay, we can agree on something. Thank goodness.
They get better every year.
They absolutely do. And Liam Peralta is the star of this team.
Well, now finally, will we see the women's volleyball team win a game in the MAAC tournament this year after going the distance last year?
Yes.
Easy agreement.
Well,
They're going to win the MAAC. I already said it earlier, and they're winning the MAAC again.
you want to know what's an interesting point, though? Only the top 6 teams make the MAAC tournament this year, right? So it's going to be more challenging. I don't think they'll win the MAAC. I do think they'll win at least a game in the MAAC tournament. One player who could be a first year, Leilani Kajusta, she's had 15 kills in each of her first 3 matches, had a big weekend. Also, other teams in the MAAC are down. Fairfield lost their coach and their top outside hitter. There's other teams that are falling. Quinnipiac on the rise. I don't think they're quite there yet.
I think they're there.
Go back to back.
They're there.
Not quite, Rossi, but
They are
maybe
absolutely there.
Well, I'm certainly out of breath after that. We'll take a short break, but stay tuned, as when we come back, we'll give you our final roars before saying goodbye here on Bobcat Breakdown.
When we adopt a shelter pet, we discover they're a unique mix of all kinds of things.
Come on, Drew, spot on this last one. There it is. Keep going with it. Leo.
They're a little bit of a lot of things, but they're all pure love.
I know what you're thinking. I need a job.
I need a new career.
Well, I've been there.
I've been there.
I've been there. I wasn't happy with what I was doing.
After high school, I didn't have a plan.
I just wanted to start working.
I got laid off twice, but you gotta keep going.
You just need the right skills. Find an apprenticeship.
I found a 2-year IT program.
I found a medical course online.
I'm now a consultant in the tech space.
You have more options than you think. You can do this.
You will find something.
You will find something new.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made home ownership happen. Homeschooling yourself on loans, beefing up your credit score.
So I'm pre-approved.
You were like, yes! Sorry. Color coding listings, ticking boxes, and flushing every toilet in a 20-mile radius. Home sweet home. You aced house hunting. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
Welcome back to Bobcat Breakdown. It's that time of the evening where we give you our final roars, highlighting one athlete or topic that might not have gotten the flowers it deserves.
1995. That was the year that legendary field hockey coach Becca Main began here at Quinnipiac. What did the world look like in 1995? Michael Jordan had just unretired from the NBA. The average price of eggs was just 87 cents, and the first iPhone was still over a decade away. What is now called Quinnipiac University was formerly called Quinnipiac College. The college had a brand new Division II field hockey team, coached by one of the only constants here at Quinnipiac in the last 28 years, Becca Main. Main was at the helm during Quinnipiac's transfer to Division I. She's become a legend with the Bobcats and in NCAA field hockey as a whole, winning 214 games, becoming a 4-time Coach of the Year in her respective conference, and winning 2 regular season MAAC championships. She also became the 2013 MAAC tournament champion, and it wasn't just team success that came with Main at the helm. Also, individual success among her athletes, both on the field and in the classroom. 19 straight seasons, earning the NFHCA Division I National Academic Team Award with a team GPA of 3.5 or higher. 94 all-conference student athletes. The legacy that Main has left on the Quinnipiac program and the athletes she crossed paths with cannot be overlooked. As we begin a new era in Quinnipiac field hockey with Nina Klein at the helm, don't forget who built the foundation that is still in place today, Becca Main.
Well, I've been talking about a lot of firsts in this episode, and I'm going to do it again. Last year was a success for Quinnipiac sports, and there was a lot of firsts for a lot of teams. Just to name a few things. First MAAC title for women's soccer. First MAAC title for volleyball. First playoff game win for women's lacrosse. First NCAA championship in school history, courtesy of the men's ice hockey team. A lot of firsts couldn't be accomplished without some amazing first years. Madison Chandler got a hat trick in her first collegiate home game. Erin Brennan won MAAC Rookie of the Meet at the Track and Field MAAC Championships. Sam Lipkin had a breakout year, becoming a new face in the Quinnipiac men's ice hockey team. And Mia Dillman won MAAC Rookie of the Year for women's lacrosse. The list goes on, and now with these players moving into their sophomore season, the torch has to be passed to a new group of talented young athletes. And they are already impressing some. Francisco Ferreira has looked amazing for the men's soccer team, already scoring a goal in a huge game against a tough Boston College team. And Evelyn Key, a quick, speedy attacker for the women's soccer team who looks to have a knack for the back of the net. The future was looking bright for the Bobcats last year, but this year that light just got brighter. I look forward to seeing how these first years adapt to the culture of being a Quinnipiac Bobcat.
Throughout the night, we have talked about individual players and how they impact their teams from a statistical view. However, their leadership and championship experience is just as important. As a mid-major school, winning championships can result in top players transferring to Power Fives. But it's just as important to celebrate those who stay in Hamden and keep the winning feeling going. We've seen players like Brag Austin, Kayla Mingachos, Ariana Diaz, Gracie Cartwright, Olivia Howard, and more fifth-year student athletes across Quinnipiac. The importance of creating a winning culture is keeping a winning culture, and there's no better way to do so than from the team's vets. It seems that the final buzzer is about to hit. Make sure to follow us on social media at Q30 Sports and stay connected to online at Q30TV.com. From our producers and the team that makes the magic happen behind the scenes, from Anthony Rossi and from Beckett Calkins, I'm Seth Fromwitz. This has been Bobcat Breakdown. Good night.